A few years ago, I did a presentation on tax software, and we looked at TurboTax and Tax Cut by H&R Block. Today we'll be looking some just at filing online through the IRS. The IRS's options for free filing, and state income tax e-filing through the state website, and then we'll look at some other government sites, Social Security and Medicare, and a few others. Are we ready? I'm using, by the way, I'm using Windows 10 today with Firefox, and I'm also using, I've got some slides here that I used were created with WPS presentation. It's part of a freeware office suite called WPS Office. It consists of three components: word processing, spreadsheet, and the presentation module, which is similar to Microsoft's PowerPoint. And I mentioned this on our forum, and Mary Frances Rouse asked if I'd ever done a presentation, with using this presentation software, and this is my first time. So today is the test session, you might say, for using a WPS presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Kind of an outline here of what I'm going to talk about today. As I mentioned, we'll be looking at federal, state, on free filing options. The state website also covers school district. As far as local tax returns, you don't have most of those, or I think a lot of those still require a paper form to be filed, but there are a few cases where you can electronically file your local tax return. For example, Johnstown, I believe, in Pataskala, work with an independent service called Regional Income Tax Agency. It's mentioned up here. So they work through that service, which does allow e-filing for local entities such as cities, and well, mainly cities. That would be. Okay, if you want to, again, this is filing what we're going to talk about, e-filing through starting with the IRS.gov website. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the website here. So if you go to irs.gov, over here on the right side of the page, you'll see this section, or this column called Filing and Payment. And if you select Free File, you come to another page here that shows two categories of taxpayers based on income. If you, for anyone with income below $62,000, which I presume probably includes most of us. So anyway, you click on Start File, button there, Start Free File. And here you'll see a display of the free filing services that are linked to the IRS. Now I've used two of these. One of them is Free File taxreturn.com. That one there in the upper left of that group. And the other one that I had some exposure to was fileyourtaxes.com. I'm not going to actually go into those services today, because to do that you've got to set up your account. You've got to, register on that site. You've got to put in your social security number and so forth, create a username, which might be your social security number, and a password, and then you start through the process. It's similar to using some of the software like TurboTax. They're going to lead you through a long string of questions, because the questions, they don't know your personal circumstances, and of course that can vary widely depending on your situation. So they have to go through a series of questions, and I wish we could go in to look at one, but I don't want to go into my personal thing there and look at it, and I can't use a fake social security number to get in and look at that, because I don't think it'll work. I think it recognizes or it validates social security number as soon as you start creating your account. Therefore, I can't...
They become looking for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My question is, if you have investments, will any of this automatically, you give it Merrill Lynch or Deanwood or whatever, will it actually go out and get your statistics from them?
I think not. I don't recall seeing that.
That's the reason I use TurboTax.
Yeah. No, I think you have to receive a 1099 regarding your investments, and you're going to have to put in that number.
Well, I don't with TurboTax.
Pardon me?
With TurboTax, you do not have.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you pay for that?
Yeah, I pay for the TurboTax to do that.
Right.
But
Yeah. This is free. So
it takes so much to fill out some of these forms. If you have, you get made, well, I forget.
Investments.
For various investments. I mean, sometimes I would have to, if I sold something, I might have had to have filled out 20 or 30 different companies and what I made on these things. And I do not care to fill that out, so I just use TurboTax because it's much less trouble.
yeah. Well, again, I think as John mentioned, that's something you paid for, so the software you paid for, so it should provide some additional
Well, I'm just, if this stuff would do it for free, there's no reason it really couldn't. Then,
well, again, as far as I know, I don't recall that it does that, so you'd have to do the manual entry. And if you have a lot of, stock sales, maybe it sounds like you're talking about stock investments, buying and selling stocks. Is that basically
right, and of course, if you had an IRA, it's taxed, you don't have to worry about that because you don't pay taxes on it. Especially if it's a Roth IRA, you never pay tax on that.
right?
But if you actually didn't spend every nickel you ever made and actually wanted to get the money back on what you had instead of getting 1% back from the bank, then you might have actually invested in something in the last 50 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so if you have capital gain transactions, you'll have to use Schedule D, and you'll have to fill that entry in yourself when you go into one of these free services. Okay. Let me go back here to my slides.
How do I know what schedules and things I need to fill out? Does it tell me?
It will tell you, it will give you, it will guide you through that. If you answer their questions, it's going to determine what forms you need to file. So it is, so even though it may not do what your name's John, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, 2 Johns. We may not do what you wanted to do. What you wanted to do is to extract directly from some other source so that you don't have to do the entry. But I'm losing my train of thought here.
if you follow, if you do their questions, that's what the whole thing about the free was.
Yeah.
Answer their questions and they'll tell you what you need.
Yeah, right. Okay, in red, I've got a tip there at in red, and this is a critical point that you must remember to get the free service. You must start this process by going to irs.gov, and from there selecting one of those services. See, those services are all just websites. If you just go directly, if you go home and open up your web browser and go to directly to one of those sites listed there, you're not going to get the free service. You have to start from irs.gov and go to this screen and select it. So apparently they're probably using cookies in your web browser to detect this, and so that's how it works. Okay, as I've already said, you have to go create an account like you do on any financial type website, any financial account that you access on the internet. And you don't have to complete the whole thing in one session. You can start it and then save what you've done, and then close out or sign off and come back later and go ahead and finish it up. The last sentence there says the e-file will not happen until you tell the system to go ahead and file the return. Is there a question here? I thought I heard somebody. Some of the free file services will do the state return, others will not. But if the ones that do not, they will go ahead and file the state for you for a fee. Now, if your e-filing, federal e-file service that you select does not offer free filing, you can go directly to Ohio's Department of Taxation website and do your free e-file through the state website. So let me go ahead and open up Ohio's website. I'm going to start by clicking on the online services up here in the upper right corner, or either one of those, and then click the online services button or text link. Over here is the button that you see. It says online services. I'm going to click that. And I will go ahead and log into this with my user ID and password, because I'm not concerned about what you see there.
Excuse me, Dave, when you get a minute.
I just did this I just logged into this today, but at home first. Okay, there we go. Yes, Mary Frances?
Dave, please, when I was just looking at that web address it offered, the HTTP, I'm an older woman, I always worry about security, and it did not have an S after it, it did not have HTTPS. So I'm just curious if I should be worried about security.
Okay, that's a good question. When you first go to the website, you're not logged in. You're just viewing a public website.
Okay,
Okay, now, since I've logged in, the prefix has changed to HTTPS.
oh, does it?
Yeah. See, if you look up there.
There it is.
Yeah, so we're now in a secure mode. Does everyone see what she's talking about up there?
Thank you.
Okay,
That's what I was looking for.
yeah. Now here's, when you first log into this, you're in the section called the dashboard. And I was surprised to see this. I don't recall this last year, but you see there, they're showing a 10-year history of my income tax and school district tax returns. That's in this box here, this table. And over here on the right column, it says View Transcript. If I click on one of those links, it'll open up a page and I'll basically see my tax return. So all that history is there. Again, I wasn't expecting to see that. I think that's a new feature.
It is.
Okay.
They just started offering transfers from the state of Ohio this past summer.
Okay.
And Mr. Vance put it on our web board forum that we could be looking forward to that or looking for it.
Oh,
Dashlane?
what's that? Dash?
Robert Vance?
Yeah.
Are we talking about Dashlane?
No.
No, we're not.
No, nothing.
What was that word you said?
Dashboard.
Dashboard?
Yeah.
Then forget what I just said.
Okay. Over here, where it says dashboard, that's the initial screen you see after you sign in. This page is called the dashboard. See, if I go to these other links here, I go to a different page then.
Okay.
Okay. So I just clicked on File, Ohio IT 1040, and another page is displayed. Over here on the right side of the page, I see a button there that says File the Ohio IT 1040. I click on that, and they have a drop box there. It does not show 2015 yet. It will later this month. And then you would select 2015 from that drop-down box, and then it'll proceed into the questionnaire part of the process. If you're in a school district with an income tax and you need to file your school district income tax return, you click on File the Ohio SD 100, and again look for the button that says File the Ohio SD 100, and you're back at a similar screen here where you select the year and then proceed on to the next part of it. view and make payments. You can,
$1 a year.
pardon me?
I said $1 a year?
Yeah. But see, the problem, I don't know for sure if you can make, maybe you're making estimated payments through the year, you could do this, or whatever the final return is. But I think I'm pretty sure if you're going through the other screens that we looked at for filing the state return of the school district, at the end of that process, you'll have the payment option right there. So I'm not, you
This
may
one's-
not, you,
Just to view what you paid this year.
yeah, it's a view option, yeah.
So you can't pay on that page.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but I think payments need to be made to the gateway.
Well, but that I'm sure is linked into this, the final.
Correct, probably somewhere closer to the front of the page, to the home page.
But but do you agree with what
Yes,
You agree with what I said, though, that when you go through the process of filling in the data for the school district or the income tax return, that at the end of the process, you'd be,
I'm not
Sure.
sure about that. I'm not sure if they tell you how you can make your payment online, or if they will offer you a voucher to print up to mail in for a payment.
well, what I recall is, from using this last year, is that at the end of that process, it prompts me to make a payment and choose, my source, whether it's a bank account or checking account or whatever that I was prompted to choose, and then then the payment was processed. Okay,
I asked you a question here.
yeah,
When you file your Ohio return and get all that information in, you go to the school district, does it automatically update the school district? You don't have to put all that again, do you?
No,
okay. John said,
yeah, I don't think I had to do that. Most of that is the same information. You
yeah,
just have to kind of double check it.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. I don't recall exactly from last year, to tell you the truth, but that makes sense. That it would just populate if you've done your state first, the income tax first, and then you go to the school district, it would populate whatever can be transferred over so that you don't have to re-enter it. Yeah,
I always do the federal first because it always propagates down.
yeah,
Passes everything down to the state and then to the school district or the city or whatever comes below.
yeah, but that won't work in this case where you're,
Freebies.
yeah, see, we're looking at the state website now. It's not linked up with federal for this,
Okay, there's no way.
right.
You would enter in your W-2 information into the state website the same as you would in the federal website,
Yeah,
because they're not linked like in TurboTax.
right. Okay, I'll log out of this now if there are no further questions on the state taxes, and we'll go ahead.
So those are all your e-filings. Had you filed before 2005, or does that mean you were filing a paper file before?
Actually, I don't think these are all e-filings. I think I could be wrong about this, but I don't recall e-filing all those years. So I think they've actually picked up.
Those are the transcripts that are on file with the state of Ohio, and they only go back so many years.
Yeah, okay. By the way, what's your job, or I don't know how...
I work for H&R Block.
Okay. Do you know whether this is going to, if after I file the 2016 returns, will this show 11 years, or is it going to be a running 10-year?
It's usually just, they will only go back 10 years,
Okay.
and they will only give refunds back to a certain, it's like 2009.
Okay. Yeah.
Part of my question on that was if you had set up your account and they know what you have done, what if you had someone else file your taxes for you? Does that information all pop up as well?
Yeah,
It should still be there.
yeah.
This is the information
Doesn't
that
matter
is filed
where
with the state of Ohio.
No matter where you have it filed, whether you do it personally, whether you do e-file, or whether you do it paper, everything should be there?
My
Yeah.
understanding is that is correct.
Yeah, and that seems consistent with what I was, my experience where I said I'm sure I didn't e-file all those years, but I paper filed sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
okay. Especially in the older years, I'm sure that I paper filed some of those earlier years. Yeah,
I thought it was only 7 years that you were responsible to hold on to, not 10, but I would, is that true, it's 7 years?
It's actually now only 5,
Only,
but some people hold them longer.
well,
I hold mine to the beginning of
Yeah.
time, because if you owe money, they can go back to the first year you ever filed.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you.
I thought it was less than what they actually showed you up here.
They can go back to the beginning of time.
I think that would be true if they detect fraud, or if they sense fraud, or suspect fraud, they can go back longer.
Even if the records no longer exist.
Yeah,
That would be
okay.
It's true. I've seen it happen.
They go into the archives, buddy.
We've had that argument, is how can you try to tax me on something that I can't even get from the federal government? I can't get from the military. I can't get this information. How can you tax me on it?
Okay. We've already covered this. One thing I didn't look at, on the state tax website, there's a section called My Profile. That just shows your phone number and your email address and maybe a few other things. You can change those, edit those if you need to. Okay, suppose for whatever reason you want to paper file your return instead of e-file. You can download forms and publications. Many of you probably done this, I would think, maybe. Go ahead, Ira.
If you do download that, you better take it to a place where your computer can download it on your machine. Because I've outburnt my machine, I'm trying to download. It was like 5,000 copies, and it won't work on the daggone HP. So it about killed my HP. So if you don't download those things, I don't know why they can't just go in there somewhere and just pick up a copy.
I see, you're talking about publications.
Yeah, you must
That
be
is
talking
true.
about a publication, not a form. No forms are that long, and I don't know. I can't think.
It was 900 pages, that was what it was.
I
And it
can't
took me
think.
3 days to download it, and then we figured it out, got it all set up, and then we went TurboTax.
Okay, I can't think of any publications that's that long either. So I don't know.
I don't know why they can't do both. I don't know why they can't send you, pick up the forms if you want to go write them out, or whether you want to go email them.
Right. And you can download any of the forms, and it's fairly simple. But some of the publications are quite lengthy.
Well, no, you can download them.
But you're better off with publications just to go in, look for the section that you're wanting, and just.
And sometimes they don't
Those
have the
pages.
sections. Sometimes the stores that you go looking for, they don't even keep copies.
Absolutely, yeah. Publications you can actually get except from the websites.
Did you have the same form print every time? A couple times I did,
I
yeah.
had 900 forms of the same, 900 prints of the same form.
Right.
They must have a box in there where you could select the number of copies.
Well, I don't remember seeing the box. All I know is it just kept just going and going and going. I tried to stop it, it wouldn't stop it. It just kept going.
I think in many cases, you can either view the publication through your web browser, or you can download the whole thing. Does that sound right to you?
Say that again, please.
In many of these, for many of these publications, you can also view at least some of them through your web browser.
They don't say in there one copy.
He's just saying, view it, don't even print it, just look at it. You can look at the publication.
Yeah, see, that's
Yeah, you can look at the publications, but Sharon would fill it out,
Well, that's a form.
the form. She wouldn't fill out the whole form.
There's no 900-page form.
No, it wasn't. But that's what it printed out, because it just doubled what I had, double or triple.
Right.
And I didn't know where to go to stop.
Well, I see. I was just telling my printer to
The
cancel.
only way I was gonna do is just unplug the daggone printer.
I was just telling the printer to cancel.
Take the printer, and it took me about a month to get the daggone ink to dry up so it'd work again. Oh, Lord.
Okay, let's take a look here at downloading some forms. So I've gone to the IRS website, the home page. Over here in the left column, you see Forms and Publications section. You can either, some of them are listed under there, right there on that page, or you can click on the button there for Forms and Publications, and here you've got a list. Here you can do it if you know the form number or the publication number. You can type it in there and then do a search. Now, a lot of your tax forms that are fillable forms. If you download the file and save the form to your computer, and you're using a PDF reader like Foxit Reader or Adobe Reader, probably any of the PDF readers, and the form was designed to be fillable, you can fill in the blanks from your keyboard. So this makes it neater than printing out the form and then filling it in by ink pen. Now, you're not going to see the fillable aspect here if you're just looking at it in your web browser. That's not fillable there, but you can, what you do is you have to download the form. And I've already downloaded this form. So let me just go ahead and go through this process of downloading. So I've downloaded the 1040. I'm going to open it up now. I'm using Foxit Reader as my PDF reader. And now you see if I click in a box, I've got the cursor, and I can go ahead and type in the boxes.
I think that link on the upper right, highlight fields, if that's what that says, will make them blue backgrounds so I can easily pick them out. Is that what that says?
What's that?
That'll make them more visible in the real world.
Is that's what you're talking about? You see the difference there? Yeah, if I click on that,
Yeah, it should make all the editable fields turn blue or some other color.
it does. On the monitor here, it looks blue. Up there, I don't see it.
No.
Okay, so for some reason, the display on the screen up here isn't showing the true.
I could see it change a little bit.
It's very faint, isn't it? I don't know if let me try that again. Right now,
There's
the features disabled. If I click on highlight fields, it highlights. It shows a color background, and all the boxes that are fillable. So,
On mine, one through here is showing okay. I think
Yeah.
the rest, the contrast settings on that thing is what's the
Yeah.
problem.
yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go to the, some of the state forms. Again, you can use the search box there and type in the form number, or you can select from this list. I'm going to select individual income tax and click on search, and I see a list of forms. Now you notice here over here on the right column under save, it shows two options for these forms. One is just straight PDF, and then it says PDF fill-in. So apparently you can get two different versions of the forms. One is not fillable, and the other is. So I have a link here for NORC. City and Tax Department. Go down here and I see tax forms. And let's see, let's take a look at a resident form. And this is obviously this is not a fillable form. In this case, you need to print this on your printer and then fill it in. Other cities in Licking County have their, if they have an income tax, they have some information on their website. Here's Utica. You see they have a link at the top there for tax department.
There you go.
Yeah. So, again, if you do a search on your, wherever you live, Utica, Pataskla, Johnstown, whatever, if you go to the city's website, and if they have an income tax, they're going to have the tax forms out there. Yeah.
If you go to the Columbus, Ohio website and you look somewhere on their tax department, there's a section there where you can look up any city in the state of Ohio, and it will tell you what type of tax form you need, whether it's a RETA or whether it's a city.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. Now I've got links there for Granville, Johnstown, but it's the same situation. I don't want to take time right now. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next screen, I think. Is there a question back? Okay.
Didn't you say Johnstown was a RETA?
Yes. Maybe we ought to take a look at that one. Johnstown is one of those cities that uses the service, the Regional Income Tax Agency, or RITA. That makes, in that case, what that does is allow you to do an e-file for Johnstown. Because if you follow this through,
I think that RITA map might show you what cities are that they cover.
yeah, that's true. If I look, I've looked at this, and I'm glad you mentioned it. If I click on Licking County there on the map, I see that Johnstown and Pataskala use this service, which means that you can effectively you can e-file for Johnstown and Pataskala. All right, let's go on to the next area here that I wanted to spend a little time on today. Social Security and Medicare. If you can go to Social Security's website, ssa.gov, create an account if you register if you've never done it before, and then you can see your earnings record with Social Security, clear, right from the beginning. If you, whatever it is, 25, 30 years or more, you can see that whole history there. Also, you can, if you need to replace a lost Social Security card or lost Medicare card, you can do that through the website. So if you want to look at that and just see the earnings record and see if it looks correct, probably worth doing, because that's the basis for your Social Security payments once you start drawing Social Security. And if you need for a young person, who's applying for the first their original Social Security card, of course you can do that on the website also. Let me go ahead and open up their website. So here's the website, and if you haven't used it before, when you click on sign in, let's see, you probably create an account. If you haven't done this before, you have to go down, click on the create an account button and go ahead and go through the registration process.
When you do something like that online, do they want your full Social Security number on it?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's got a pretty good lock on it?
Yeah.
Social Security phone.
You're watching.
Well, I'm not at home, Rick. I'm at Computer Society.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
One thing I wanted to mention about this process, I went through the process of creating an account, and
I'll stop over.
Okay. I went through the process of creating an account, and I was presented with 4 or 5 security questions, and I've learned that these questions came from data from Experian, one of the credit reporting services, and it would ask questions like, did you have a loan back in, an auto loan that was closed or finished in November 2004 or something like that? And so I was thoughtfully, I felt that I was thoughtfully reading all those questions and giving the correct answer, and apparently I didn't answer one of them correctly, so I got blocked out of completing the registration. I had to call Social Security, and they unblocked it for me and said, you'll have 3 more attempts, and if you still fail to answer the questions correctly, you'll have to go to a local Social Security office and get the process moving there that way. So be careful when you're answering those questions, and if you do get blocked out, go ahead and call the Social Security service, and from my experience, they'll unblock you so that you have another 3 chances, I guess, to try to complete the registration. They also suggested that when I called Social Security, they said, well, that's when they told me that the data comes from Experian, and they were telling me I should get my credit history from Experian, so that that would help me to avoid not answering any questions incorrectly or answering any questions wrong. I tried to do that. I did go to Experian, and I was trying to start the process where everybody's supposed to get a free annual credit report. I got blocked on that site too, or not. It didn't work right. Basically, I got blocked on that site too.
That's why I called.
Huh?
That's why I called. If I want to call Social Security, I call Social Security, get a human being on that end so I can talk to them.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do. I don't think they'll let you create an account first.
No, I don't mean create an account. I mean, that's why I call Social Security.
Yeah.
If I want to get my Medicare card or my Social Security card, I call.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I don't know if they're probably not gonna give you the history of your Social Security contributions by phone. So that's one benefit of creating an account on the website.
But if I ever go to apply for something, then I get my rating.
If you apply, now you're talking
Well, if I
about.
buy some furniture or buy anything like that, then they tell me what my score is, what my rating score is.
Yeah.
And this time it was well over 800, so I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Well, but yeah, okay. The point was that the questions that I was asked to try to register on Social Security came from Experian.
Oh, they came from what you already had.
They came out of my Experian credit history.
Well, how would you know what that was all about?
I didn't know.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Yep.
Dave, you seem to have lost your audience temporarily. We need to get back on the track listening to Dave.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on here to the next. Here.
May I just add that
Yeah.
creating an account online may take a little bit of time, but it is a lot shorter normally than waiting on hold.
Yeah.
I didn't hear all that.
Good point.
I said creating an account online may take a little bit of time. I said, but it's a lot less time than you normally than sitting on hold with Social Security.
Yeah. For what time you call?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm just this is what I've been telling you, so we can move on. I've already explained what happened here, which is what I talk about on this slide. So I'm going to go on to the next one. Okay, let's talk for just a few minutes here about Medicare. Again, like Social Security, you can go to Medicare.gov and create an account. If you create an account, you'll get an acknowledgement by mail for this, and it'll look like it's a 2-page letter. I made a copy of it here. It's not very, I don't think it's clear enough to read that. So it says we're sending you this letter because on 1/8/2016 you registered to access mymedicare.gov. This letter includes instructions on how to sign in to mymedicare.gov and access and control your personal information about your Medicare benefits. By registering, which is secure, personalized portal, you may view or access information that Medicare has about your personal health care, like Medicare Part A and Part D claims, your yearly deductible status, eligibility information, plans and coverage, preventive services, add your preferred health care providers and pharmacies. I thought that was interesting. You can add that into the profile, and apparently that would then make that information available. Suppose you enter your personal physician there. That would then give them access to whatever the information you put in for your that's in Medicare.gov website on your health history would be accessible by your physician or whoever, hospital or whoever you put into the data on your healthcare providers and pharmacies. And you can record your any allergies or implantable devices, immunizations, medical conditions, and family medical history. And again, that information will be accessible to a healthcare provider or pharmacy that you've recorded in your profile. And of course, there's you go to my Medicare.gov to get started with this process of creating your online account.
You can call this paranoid, but why would I want the government to know my personal stuff? Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just kind of paranoid about that. Why do I want to share that with them?
If you're going to travel to China, they might want to know. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just switch.
I don't know, I'm kind of thinking once you reach the age where you're where you're covered by Medicare, that this might be a good thing to go ahead and use this website. Obviously, yeah, you're putting some confidence in the government's ability to keep someone from hacking into the site. Yeah, that's.
And keep them from sharing information between them.
Yeah. You mean for like employees who have access to your data and, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about you.
Chinese.
No.
Chinese do.
Okay, so basically I've covered this. Here's one other site that I want to mention, and we're kind of running here a long time. Healthcare.gov. This is the site that everybody's heard about, Obamacare. or officially the Affordable Care Act. And people who sign up under this program go to let's go ahead and go to the website. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me just type in the You've probably heard a lot about Obamacare. Republican people in Congress keep trying to repeal it. Anyway, I think here you see it says the last chance for 2016 coverage ends January 31st. I think that was actually an extension. I think the original date was earlier. But I'll mention that my younger son is visiting me, and I became aware that he doesn't have coverage and he should be enrolling in this, so I'm going to have a talk with him. But anyway, what you do, if you know someone who maybe should be signing up under this, you can advise them to go to this, maybe if they're not aware of how to go about it, you go to this website. Yes?
The penalties are only getting steeper,
Right?
and they're becoming more and more stringent about you being accurate about the information you're providing as to whether you have insurance or not.
Okay.
And before it was they just took your word for it,
Oh, I see.
and now they're wanting proof that you have insurance.
Click repeal,
What?
click repeal quick.
Oh,
What's he say?
click repeal.
So to do this, what you do is you have to select your state, because each state has their own system for sign-ups, and so that's kind of, so again,
What if you already have insurance? Should you check it out, see?
I don't know for sure. I don't think you do generally, but I didn't have to sign up because I already had coverage. And once you're covered by Medicare, that satisfies the requirement. Okay. So, but I think a lot of people who already had coverage did not need to change, so they didn't have to go through this. They didn't have to go to healthcare.gov and go through the process of registering. Yeah.
My understanding is that it's not a bad thing to go because you might find an insurance plan better than what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
But it's not cheaper.
Maybe not, but it could be cheaper, but you don't know until you look.
Yeah.
Based on your income, they decide how much that they will cover and how much will be your portion.
Yeah.
But it is reflected on your tax return. So keep that in mind when you're deciding whether or not you want to allow them to pay for a part of it.
What was the first part of that?
Based on your income with healthcare.gov, they will pay a portion of the payment, monthly payment, for you, and you pay a portion. But when you are keeping that thought in mind, you have to remember that you're going to have to report the portion that they paid on your tax return, and sometimes that can hurt you.
Well, what, you have to report his income?
Yeah, right.
This number is.
Yeah, it's all on the second page of your 1040. And it's all under the healthcare, the different healthcare columns that they've had in there.
Just don't accept what the government's gonna pay.
If-
You pay it all.
If, as I say, if you have them pay a portion of it, you have to tell the government on your tax return that you let them pay.
Yeah.
And sometimes that'll take away from your your refund, and sometimes it can cause you to owe.
So it's a choice between an ambulance and a hearse. Pretty much.
Yeah, one will save your life, the other is just to finish your life.
Sometimes. I was on healthcare.gov for a portion of last year. Not this 2015, but 2014. And I found it hurt me.
You got hurt?
It hurt me.
Yeah.
I ended up getting $2 back. Because of the portion that I allowed them to pay.
And that $2 counts as income for next year.
Yeah.
Okay, one other area that I was going to mention is some of the, is a way to go to websites to, if you want to contact one of our senators or our representative, Patrick T. for this district. You can go to those websites. You can contact them through the website. I've done this 4 times now with T-Berry. And I always get a response back. So it's just, I really recommend you do this. If you have certain issues that you've looked into, done a little research on, that you're concerned about, the way things are currently going, go ahead and go to the website of these people and contact them. So because I think it's, we have a lot of problems today in our country, and gosh, that's.
And they're all caused by these people.
Yes. Yeah.
You got a call.
So with that, I'll conclude.
Good job.